This is America's Voice Live.
And welcome to America's Voice Live. I'm Steve Gruber.
The pulse of the people.
We need somebody that's going to hear the people's voice.
The truth the mainstream won't touch.
This guy is, by definition, a globalist.
And the stories that matter.
Rav's own Ben Berquam.
Right up over this hill. We got an armed cartel. I see him.
Live.
Breaking news right now here on Real America's Voice.
Unfiltered.
These people are domestic terrorists.
And unapologetic.
We're here to take a stand for God and country. Does feel good, doesn't it?
America's Voice Live starts now.
Welcome to America's Voice Live. I'm Steve Gruber. It is Monday, the 7th of July. I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. Not everybody did. We have a lot to get to today, from those devastating floods in Texas to the big, beautiful bill getting passed into law and events at the White House, plus a shooting at a Border Patrol facility on the border in Texas as well. For now, I'd like to start with those floods in central Texas. Devastating. The death toll could reach 100. Dozens of people still missing. The death toll in the mid-80s right now, and it changes by the hour. NOAA's Weather Prediction Center raised the flash flood threat across portions of the Lone Star State on Monday to a level 3 out of 4, and several flash flood warnings were issued during the morning hours for counties impacted by flooding over the weekend. The 9th flood in 90 years in the Guadalupe River. It's been there before. In fact, they've had worse flooding, but circumstances this time lined up for tragedy. The flooding originated from the swift waters of the Guadalupe as the storm pounded the region with torrential rainfall. Out of the 90 casualties, 27 identified as children from nearby all-girls Christian summer camps. Officials fear the death toll at Camp Mystic will continue to rise as hundreds of first responders, both on the ground and in the air, look for anyone who was swept away during the catastrophe. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued a proclamation declaring Sunday as a day of prayer across the state in response to the flooding and the devastation. Here with me now to discuss this, State Texas Representative Steve Toth. Steve, thank you for being here. I know you live about 3 hours away, but you told me just before we came on, this tragedy reaches all corners of Texas and beyond because in your community, you've lost people. Tell me your reaction and how you are absorbing all this and taking it all in.
Really hard to, Steve. You know, you expect, as you and I talked earlier, 9,000 people were lost for the Galveston hurricane. One of the most traumatic events in the history of Texas. And yet, in some ways, this reverberates more painfully because it's so many children. And because of the fact that we have mass media today that everyone's seen it firsthand, and it's just been very difficult to take in. Initially, when you heard about this, you thought, a few kids, tragic, but now you're hearing, no, it's not just a couple kids, it's upwards of 100 or more people, and the vast majority of them being children. And parents can't even identify their children yet. They don't know where to go. It's a terrible situation for the parents. I just can't take it in.
Looking at the timeline here, the Democrats wanted to blame somebody immediately on this, and I have to dive into this part of the story because it's extremely important. They tried to blame the big, beautiful bill just signed a couple of days ago as the impetus for all this destruction and chaos. The Guadalupe River has flooded at least 9 times, major floods in the last 90 years. It's a fairly regular event, the way the topography of the land is. Flash flooding is a thing in Texas, always has been. You've got cloud seeding that people want to talk about. But to blame somebody for this is outrageous. But I will say this. The National Weather Service had extra people working those 2 days because of the storms and put out a flash flood warning at 1:14 a.m., but it was not issued to the public by the Kerrville Police Department in Kerr County until 5:16 in the morning, 4 hours later. That delay cost people their lives, did it not?
Sure did. It absolutely did. The county judge there is AWOL. I mean, he just absolutely blew it. And that's really what this truly comes down to. And the way that the left is abusing this and using this right now, you've got commentators that are out there saying, well, these kids deserve to die. After all, they were white kids and climate deniers, and they deserve to die. I mean, what a heartless, evil thing to say.
Horrible. Inexcusable. In fact, a number of people have lost their jobs, as they should, for reckless, careless, vile posts like that. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take it all in. so many of them forget, it was just a year or so ago when North Carolina got hit with a similar incident. And you actually had the FEMA director saying, don't send people to that area of North Carolina. After all, they're just Trump conservatives. They deserve this. And I mean, it's just, these people are sick, just absolutely sick.
All right, so what can we do to make this better? I want to get to that real quickly. There need to be better early warning systems. This is a place that's going to flood again. It will happen again. Texas has had many major floods, flash flooding, because the way the land lies there in hill country, it's going to happen again. Can we get sirens for floods? Can we do better? The alert system went out to cell phones, but in the middle of the night, a lot of people were sleeping. They didn't hear their phones go off. What can we do better, sir?
Yeah, we do need a comprehensive plan that is set up by the Texas Department of Emergency Management. There was a piece of legislation that came through the Texas House this past year, House Bill 13. It was poorly conceived, poorly put together, and it didn't pass. And what it did was it just created another level of bureaucracy in the Texas Department of Emergency Management. Here's what we need to do. Texas has the most robust emergency management activation system in the United States. NIMKID is absolutely a superstar. The department head at TDM. What we need to do is just give him the resources that he needs to have and let him deploy them. What we don't need is another level of bureaucracy, which is what this legislation tried to create.
Yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to one remarkable individual. His name is Scott Ruskin. He's 26 years of age. He's a Coast Guard diver. He rescued apparently 176 individuals. American heroes stood up in this event. It's tragedy. We see the worst possible events happening, but we see the best of America step up when it happens. Steve, I'll give you the last word here.
Yeah, there's so many stories like that. There's a great story of one of the camp counselors at Mystic that she took her 13 girls and let them out the window, each one by one, and while they're clinging to a clothesline, and she tragically was swept away, but by God's grace was saved later on, as were those girls, and they were still clinging to that clothesline by God's grace.
Yeah. Tough days in Texas, Steve, as they still look for more missing children, more missing adults. The death toll likely to top 100 before it's all said and done. We've got to learn to do better. Steve, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Steve. God bless.
No, God bless you. And for anybody that would turn this into, you voted for Donald Trump, you deserve this, you're shameless and heartless. I want to switch gears to another event in Texas. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't, but a shooting at Border Patrol stop along the border in McAllen, Texas. So joining me now is J.J. Carell, active shooter neutralized. 27-year-old identified as Ryan Luis, armed with tactical gear, brandishing a rifle, shot and killed after the individual opened fire to U.S. Customs and Border Enforcement Agency located in McAllen, Texas, the place that I was most recently on the border. He was neutralized quickly. Border agents on site exchanged gunfire with the assailant, with one getting hit in the knee. His condition, however, is confirmed as being stable following the incident. Further investigation confirmed the assailant had an additional rifle and other assault weapons, even detailed the fact that Luis's car had tags registered in Michigan. The FBI is set to lead the investigation, which is being treated as a premeditated attack. Here to talk about this is a former deputy in charge for the U.S. Border Patrol, J.J. Carell. J.J., nice to see you again. Is this the new normal? I mean, when the left puts out all these narratives about how you're killing children and ripping children from their parents' arms and destroying families, this is almost predictable, is it not?
It is predictable. You just heard your last guest talk. You guys were discussing that Donald Trump caused these kids to die. I mean, it's absurd that the blame and the vitriol. And why would we expect anything less than come and find Border Patrol agents and kill them? Because they've called us neo-Nazis, xenophobes, racists for decades, and then it's just ratcheted up this last 4 to 6 years. Why wouldn't we expect this to happen?
I have to give a lot of respect to the Border Patrol agents. They neutralized him in short order, but I guess if you show up and you're the one lone gunman and they're all armed, the odds are stacked against you. Almost a suicide mission, wouldn't you say?
It has to be a suicide mission. You have to be either a complete moron or you just have to be ideologically bent to go kill Border Patrol agents. The idea that you're going to walk into a law enforcement facility where everyone has a sidearm on their hip and probably carrying a long arm, and you're going to get out of there alive, that's absurd. So he had to go in there knowing he's going to get shot or potentially killed. And he did. And great for the Border Patrol agents and the reaction to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. They did and hopefully, JJ, this sends a message. You want to try that? Go ahead. Try that. Your success levels will be very low. And if it comes from the other side of the border, I suggest the same response. As the cartels actively control big stretches of that border on the Mexican side still. Our Border Patrol has done its job outstandingly well since January. It's not being crossed the way it was. I mean, the numbers are almost 100% sealed in some areas, right? I mean, the job has been extraordinary.
It has, with the leadership of Donald Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem. The border's basically, it doesn't exist. There's hardly anyone crossing. No one's crossing, and then no one is being released. This is unbelievable. But when you go back to the beginning of your question to me, when you have your federal politicians all clamoring for defund the police, defund ICE, everyone in law enforcement's a racist, Nazi, what do you expect? The Democrats have fueled this type of environment that now Border Patrol agents and ICE officers, to do their job, have to cover their faces like the federales in Mexico in fear of their own politicians and their own people and their own citizens. That's what's happened to America, and shame on the Democrats for doing this to us.
Let's go ahead and bring that ID up. We just got this made available to us, his Michigan driver's license. There it is on your screen. Of the suspect, the deceased suspect, who thought he could take on the Border Patrol. He could not. He failed. But did this guy really travel all the way from Michigan to Texas because he had been amped up and motivated to attack Border Patrol agents? I mean, what do you make of that, JJ?
Well, we don't know yet, but I would assume he's an illegal alien. Why not? He went to a sanctuary state like Michigan, got a driver's license, probably worked there, got all kind of benefits, and then decided to come back to Mexico, or was deported and then just crossed over and made it through a smuggling event. And now he's angry and wants to take advantage of the Border Patrol and try to kill us. Who knows in this crazy world that we live in, because we live in a nation that is not founded on law and order anymore. We're living in a nation that is lawless. And this is the ramifications of having people that run our country through a tyrannical way and then demonize all the people that keep us safe. What do we expect is going to happen? And when you look at law enforcement and understand this, when you demonize us and you call us these vile names, and then you are shocked when we have the Ferguson effect take place in law enforcement, where we all stop and slow down instead of charging into the firing building, instead of charging into a house trying to save you. We are now thinking, is this a trap? Are they waiting for me on the other side? Is someone trying to kill me? When I do my job, are they going to try to sue me? This is what's happened. This is a Ferguson effect, and is playing loud and clear in law enforcement. And Border Patrol agents and stations across America are on high alert right now, and they should be. And we are going to see blood shed on our streets because of the Democrats and their vitriol toward law enforcement, in particular ICE and Border Patrol right now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, JJ. Correction on the shooter's name. It's Ryan Luis Mosqueda. That's the best way I can say it. Ryan Luis Mosqueda is on the driver's license. I just want to make sure we had a clarification on the actual name. Well, we'll keep you up to date as to his origins and his motivations, but his motivations were short-lived. JJ, always appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you for the sober look at the truth in the headlines today, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a quick break here. On Friday, the big, beautiful bill was signed into law by President Trump after getting passed by the House of Representatives. With the bill now passed, many wondering what comes next. More details straight ahead on ABL.